I don't think I couldn't get 600 words out of it. Like, I did one and I started typing it, and
I redid mine seven times. I had like 3 started on my computer, and I ended up not doing it on. Those were all from the same work. Ended up doing it totally different work.
Well, that's actually, I know that sounds strange, but that actually encourages me and makes me like the assignment more.
Work is not talking about.
You're like, oh, I started working this 3 times and I thought about it 4 times as hard as I ever would have thought about anything else. I'm like, oh, okay, so goal achieved. Look at that. Exactly.
Most assignment you've ever given us.
Really? Oh yeah. Definitely. It's the hardest paper. It's the hardest paper of all my
I
papers.
even made my husband read it, which was funny because he's like super smart. And he was like, why am I reading this? And I was like, because it doesn't make any sense to me. And he was like, yeah, but I haven't read what you've read, so I don't, and I said, just tell me if it makes sense to you, because even though you haven't read it, you should get a feel for what the story is. And he was like,
no.
Yeah.
No sense.
Okay, sounds fine. And I was just like, you're not helpful at all. And I think I rewrote it after that because I was like, he wasn't impressed.
This is really weird, but like, okay, so here's what we can, here's literature, here's the world of literature, okay?
The world of literature,
Huh? The world of literature is this body of water, whatever it is, okay? And generally speaking, in this class, we go this deep. Like, so there's the top, and then there's like, this is how deep we go. The critical analysis may be super hard because essentially, like, I'm asking you to think down here in this part of the water, even though we really only go that far. Literature is actually about this deep. Like, it goes like way down here. Like, it's like, here's the bottom, and we're like up here going, yay, we're like swimming. But there's like so much deeper to go. I used to teach it to about this level, but then everybody got so they didn't realize that they had to swim down that far, and they just kept drowning. They were just like, ugh. So now I have to do like a little dive real quick and be like, ooh, it's cold down there, and you come right back up. But to me, it's like when I'm looking at this literature, a lot of times it's in some of the papers that I'm reading, it's like seeing, remember that moment in The Matrix where Neo realizes and he suddenly becomes his full self, and he looks and everything's just code. He just like, and they just go, wait. And then like people start shooting bullets at him and they just stop in the air. And he's like, and then like, I don't know, force pushes them and they all fall over. I'm not saying I'm Neo. I'm saying all English teachers are Neo. You see the code. There's code. And like I look at the code all the time, but I have to, basically everybody else is like, can I just be in the reality where I eat the steak and it tastes good? And so I don't ever want to, and I'm sitting here going, no, look guys, like there's another reality outside this reality where like you're kept in a vat for machines to use your bioelectricity. And y'all are kind of like, I know, but I just would rather eat the steak. Like everybody is the Judas character in The Matrix, and I want everybody to be like, hey, let's all be Neo together. But like I realized that when I kept saying that over and over again, people are just like, they just wanted to destroy the Matrix entirely, and people and everything. Like it just, so I know this isn't like, why am I saying any of this? But it's like I gotta make us do at least a little dip, because when I did it down here, people just checked out entirely. It was like I wasn't even talking. And some of the times we would dip down this deep, like when we get to poetry, like we don't do this anymore because I found it was just too daggum hard. Was teaching rhythm in poetry and how rhythm can have an effect on meaning, like not just rhyme, but like rhythm. and like the sounds of words. Like it's hard to express, but like there's a poem that went called "Still to Be Neat." And it's about going to like a ball or whatever, and it says it's still to be neat, still to be dressed as you were going to a feast, and the sounds there and the bounce is light, like a dance, like you're going still to be neat, still to be dressed, and it's like it goes do 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 do, and the sounds are aspirated and light, and it's there, but like I had students and I was saying, okay, so we can get there and have fun with that. First, we got to learn what a foot is, and some feet have one syllable and some feet have two. And the students were like, okay, so like what's a syllable? And I was like, okay, so here's like computer, right? And if we write the word computer, okay? Computer. Okay? Computer. 3 syllables. And they were like, okay. And I was like, you try. So I was like, I thought we'll just go easy with this, right? We'll go kitty. And I was like, all right, now you say, if you so watch, computer, 3 syllables, 1, 2, 3, right? I was like, kitty. And they were like, kitty. 1 syllable. And I was like, and we're not teaching this anymore. After enough times trying to explain just that any word had a number of syllables in it, and people just not getting it. It was the same reason I got rid of that lesson where we all talked about, I said, okay, y'all, write a noun. Like, write your name on the board, okay. And then write like an adjective that describes you, okay. And it was just like, it's got to be the same letter as your first name. Got it. Adjective describes me. Got it. And it was like, it would be like, Jeff jumped. No, that's a verb. That's a word that does things. Like, yeah. No, that describes what I'm doing. That's not what I said. And it was like I was trying to, I'm trying to like get to the deep meanings within humanity. But first I have to teach what a syllable is, or what an adjective is, and I don't have time to go swim back to shore
Teach you how to swim.
and teach you how to swim. It was like, listen, okay, we can't. Okay, so apparently we're not gonna be able to swim. What we're gonna have to do instead is I'm just gonna dunk you under for the critical, and then we'll come back up, and then we'll just float along. And you're like, woo, like for the rest of the course. Because I can't take you back to the shore and teach you what water is. It just takes too long. So instead we're out here and we're like, what is this stuff for? And I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it? Yeah. And that's kind of what my job is I figured out this is the happy space, and occasionally we get a little uncomfortable, and we come right back. Well, actually, then there's the research paper, which, as you go, well, that's bad. The research paper. This is the worst erasing job ever.
Just use the eraser.
So, research paper is not as deep, I don't think, but you're down for longer. If that makes sense. Less pressure on the chest. More time underneath.
I'm not a certified timer.
Huh? You're not a certified timer. I'm more like a father teaching how to swim, not somebody who's giving official swim lessons.
Do you read the comments when we submit?
I do.
Okay.
Generally speaking. Huh?
You'll enjoy mine.
Okay. I often I'll read them all. So anytime you leave a comment, it stands out like real big. Like it just sits on the page in a place where like normally my eye looks right when I'm gonna go click and start to like type the feedback, and then I see the comment. So just rare that I would miss a comment entirely.
I mean, I didn't catch you out or anything. I just...
Okay. It's good to know, I guess. But sometimes I'll get a comment and I will respond. I'll try to respond to almost all of them, unless there's one that's like essentially a line that says like, sorry it's late, blah, 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 blah. And I go, okay, you're just apologizing. You need to get this out of your system. Or if it's like, this is like the worst thing I've ever written. And I'm like, like it, you want validation. Otherwise, if it's a longer comment that seems like it would require a response, I'll usually do that. That's how we do the critical analysis evaluation. I've already started thinking about it in a different way. That's like I can't stop myself, but I'm gonna still call it critical evaluation, even though just now I feel like I'm calling it. Like I realized, like I don't know.
Like it's the wrong thing.
Like if somebody's told me, like in the class, they're like they send me an email, and like say, let's say Jeff, you wanted to go by Jeffrey. And let's say like in class you wanted to go by that, but then like I get an email and it says Jeff on it, and I get another email reply back and says Jeff on it. Well, now to me you're Jeff because I'm like this guy wants to be Jeff, so you're Jeff. So I can't think of the other name anymore. So now that I've got the other critical name, I'm like I can't go back. It's like, oh, that's your actual. That's what you want to be called. Yeah, that's what I want to be called. So that's where I am on that. Now with the grading, census analysis, finished all those. Then I started grading the census analysis for the Britlit class, got those done. I went ahead and did a comb through of all the assignments. So I tried to sift the weeds from the wheat, in a sense, and get rid of all the ones that I knew people wanted to get out of there first. Like if you had a document that didn't upload and you've got this big blank spot, I feel like I always try to go through all the essays and make sure people know, because it sucks to find out on the day when everybody else's gets graded and you're like, oh, okay, you're getting yours graded, oh, all right, awesome, that means I'm coming soon. So I turn it in around the same time, and then like I grade it and it says I couldn't see this document, and you're like, oh my gosh. So now you gotta spend time and then you gotta wait longer for the grade. So I try to get those out of the way first. And I do like a quick like plagiarism check as well. So I can check for any like just like blatant plagiarism where it's like the whole paper. Although there are some things that I did miss, like when I started grading the essays, there was some things I can't catch. Like one of the papers was written on a quote, and I had kind of that Rose for Emily moment where I said, I don't know if that quote's in the story, and I searched, and sure enough, it's not in there. This is very important to establishing theme and meaning in the story. It was. The author didn't think so. He decided not to include it. Yeah, so that was very odd. And I think I figured out what happened was somebody went and they put story title and then wrote the word quotes after it and then typed that in Google. Probably a good idea though afterwards to actually check and make sure that the quote appears in your story, because I looked at it and I was like, what? That's weird. Why does that pop up? It's not in there. And then I realized why. I don't have my computer plugged in. I was like, why does it look like it's half dead? So currently in the process of grading critical evaluations. I'll probably, just to make it easier on myself, instead of doing all the discussion posts at once, imagine I'll go and do like an essay, then like 5 discussions, and an essay, then 5 discussions. Because I didn't get them all done this time like I did the last time. Mostly because I think I was responding a little bit more heavily to these, since they're all written on Antigone. And I was kind of, I don't know, I guess I was curious at why people were writing what they were writing more than usual. And it also caused me to want to go back and do a reread of Antigone, because I was like, I don't think I'm remembering it correctly. And I am. Like, I'm right. It's just Hill's responses to it were strange to me.
Why is that?
I don't know. Well, I know, but I might actually start with this. I'm gonna do something strange. Although I don't know that the question is even right anymore. I came up with the question last night, put all this work into it, and now I'm not so sure. This is a proof of concept. Okay, so we're gonna do something we don't usually do. This is a proof of concept. Yeah. And we'll see. Oh, I gotta figure out how to even make this work. Probably gonna tell me that I'm not logged in. Okay. All right. I literally have no idea what to even do. Okay. So this is, oh wait, is that even the right one? I don't think it's the right one. Hold on. Please bear with, I'm doing that teacher thing. You know that teacher thing where like the teacher's never done a thing before and you're having to like Like when the time when the computer doesn't work and the teacher has to figure out what the heck's happening. This is kind of like that in a sense. Okay, I think I got it. I don't want any talking about this. I just wanted you to do it. This is not like a trick like that lesson I have in 1301. You know, where everybody says die. Or actually, nobody says die.
Well, I thought something about that one.
Huh?
Everybody be quiet.
Well, yeah, it's not the everybody be quiet one. I just don't want you to talk about your response. I just want you to make it. Does anybody got their phones? It'll only work if you have a phone. Or a computer. And like for, you have a phone? Okay. So, I've never tried this before. This is the easiest way to do this. Would be to, if anybody's got like a phone, or the other phones where like you get the QR code. You know, like now look, and like the.
But you have to have an app for it or something?
You actually, I don't know that what about Samsungs or any of those now, but like with an iPhone.
You have to have an app for it.
No.
iPhone, the way it works now is like the camera. I just point at it and it says, "Do you want to open this link?" and you open it.
Oh, so it doesn't have
In the camera.
That's actually really cool. I've never heard of that.
I don't think.
So if you just take your iPhone camera, you point at it, it's going to say, "Do you want to open this link?" and you open the link.
Oh, yeah.
Do the survey.
And then do the survey. So it asks you,
Nope, I don't do it.
well, the QR code for some reason pops up really big on the top of the survey, so I apologize for that. But I ask a question about Antigone. Who was right, like just in the initial conception of the idea? Antigone, she should have been allowed to bury her brother, not be punished for it. Or Creon, he should have been allowed to protect the state by punishing its enemies. That's neat. It happens live. Isn't that cool? I'm not answering, even though I want to. This is about what I figured. I'm not at all shocked. Oh, we got one more? No. Huh? There's actually, it tells you that you have there's another way to do this. If you go to pollev.com/ChrisNichols585, I could not change the username, by the way. It'll take you to the same poll. So it'll only let you answer once from your device. So if you went to anybody who used that QR code, all it did was took you to this web address here. Because it was telling me to have everybody do that typing thing, but I was like, people don't like to type. If I say type, they just won't. Right? Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm not getting graded on this. Is it gonna? Did I hit print screen? Did it do it? It's live. That's just interesting. The people who are latecomers did some Creon thinking. The initial ones are Antigone, and then other people are like Creon. I don't know what the appropriate amount of time is to wait.
I mean, it took me like less than 1 second to just happen. So.
For the technologically capable, yes. Some people it comes very naturally. Interesting. And I assumed it was going to be heavily in favor of Antigone. In fact, I assumed more so than it currently is. Are you opening new windows? What's going on? It's shifting.
It doesn't like do that.
You tried?
Declare your last response.
Do it again.
Oh, you just want to say that was you doing that?
Well, I wonder if-
I noticed it was like 17, 16, 17, 16. I was like, there's no way people are just filling out new answers, or it would really change it a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if because it says clear your last response. So I
Yeah,
wonder if-
Yeah. So you clear it out and you want to change your mind, and you
yeah.
can change it.
See, I just did it.
And it stays alive. What is this?
Looks pretty fun.
I'll pick mine. So.
I'm sorry, I got a text that was very delightful. Every time my wife gets excited about something, I get excited. I don't know, it's just something about like when you see the person you love like get excited about something, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah. Like you feel the same way.
It's super cheesy.
It's, like it wouldn't matter if she's like, I got so mad at this kid at Walmart and I punched him. It was the best feeling of my life. I'm like, yeah. And then later I'm like, we should think about this. Like this is probably not the best. Okay, so I'm stopping it really soon. Does anybody need more time? Don't do a second vote. I mean, it's a poll of the class. Why do you need two of yourself?
Vote for the person not here.
But you don't. So you must be putting Creon, right? Because only a person who had true authoritarian tendencies would want to dictate everyone else's. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit print screen. Wow, people are like, it changed a lot at the last second. I don't know why. Why did it change so much? Did everybody clear all the responses and just say never mind? Okay, I'm gonna, for the moment. Actually, I don't know what to do from here. Lock. Ooh. New response is not accepted. This is, and I'm probably just gonna leave this up because I like looking at it. Does anybody have a problem looking at a donut? No? Did you know I had different options? I had options like to make it a bar, or make it a donut, or make it vertical bars. Horizontal, vertical. I was like, donut? Everybody likes a pie chart. Who doesn't?
That was pretty
This is a donut chart.
It was pretty cool watching it.
Watching this, I was like, it didn't move.
Watching it live, I like that.
Because guys, I'll be honest with you, I've looked at Kahoot before. I just can't with Kahoot. Like I just don't have enough. Like the discussion too. This is one question I knew I was going to have for every single class though. So I found this to be interesting. That it seemed like almost everybody was like on Antigone's side from the beginning. It seemed like when I was reading the discussion post, it sounded like immediately when like she said what she was going to do and had a discussion with his meaning, people had already kind of decided, yep, she's right. Like, but without even like really hearing any more past that, it was like, or maybe did you read like a summary ahead of time and you're like, okay, so Antigone's on the right side, then you started reading it. Like, I'm curious, so like everybody, I mean, obviously you do feel this way, you wouldn't have said it. It's interesting. Did y'all ever, was this ever a question in anybody's mind while you were reading? What your thoughts about this were? Like, did those who picked, for example, those who picked Creon and feel comfortable sharing it, did that happen over the course of the story where you're kind of like, I see where he's at? Because, I mean, he does end up getting, things get worse, I guess, for Creon as it goes. He's sort of told over and over and over again, you're wrong enough times that he realizes the error of his ways. But in the initial outset, I mean,
Like burying one brother but not the other. Like that.
yeah, I guess there's that idea.
I thought it was justified.
Like if he had, I wonder if he had talked first and not Antigone, if that would change what we thought.
Probably not though, because he still I think it was a rash decision on his part initially.
He felt like he had to show power.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So his initial response was in his
And it was
power
going
struggle.
against the odds, but he still felt like he had to assert his power and show that he was in control, to me.
Right, I think one of the big things is everybody else is obsessed with dying from this prophecy slash, whatever's
Learning
going
that
on
just
with
happened.
Antigone. And also Creon's Antigone's uncle, so I don't know if he specifically had like one besides just being a horrible person in the drama, but his whole thing is that he doesn't want to include himself in the tragedy, right? So he's doing his best to focus on the kingdom instead, and even though everybody dies and stuff kind of goes terrible for him, he also is still alive. So I don't know what the give and take there is. Because I feel like had he specifically gone into the idea of the villain for his family, it would have gone a little bit different. He probably still would have been alive because he's the villain and that's what happens. But I don't know. It felt like he kind of found the secret by just like focusing on the kingdom and not worrying about it. I don't know. Like everybody else was kind of pushing their own fate to the edge just because they knew that they were gonna die somehow.
Yeah.
Or I guess I should say they knew how they were gonna die, and so they were like trying to get to it fast. Same thing with Oedipus, don't get as much backstory.
Oh yeah, some of y'all are reading Oedipus, aren't you? In what, theater?
Yeah, read it.
And have read it in like prior semesters. Used to, I taught Oedipus, and I thought Oedipus was the superior play. And I think, honestly, I still kind of think that. Mostly, though, because I don't know, the moment of recognition happens at the same time he turns. Like when he realizes that he's done the thing that caused the thing. Like if he just stayed put, I think like that moment comes at like when he realizes the truth of the situation at the same time. Like I don't know, there's something about that, but I feel like this poem, or not poem, this play gives you more to talk about than Oedipus to me.
Yeah, but people that haven't read Oedipus are super confused.
Right. So let me just kind of sum up. Well, I mean, y'all heard about Oedipus in the play, so he was in there. Antigone's dad was Oedipus. It's an interesting thing. A lot of people, I think, maybe read the Spark Notes of Oedipus, or they don't know the whole story of Oedipus. You hear Freud's term Oedipal complex, and you think, okay, it's some weird sex thing. And then when you look up that Oedipus, like, had sex with his mother and killed his father and had children by his mother, you go, okay, that's weird and messed up. That's not okay. And everybody just says, okay, so Oedipus is that weird incest guy. And that's just kind of how the whole rap that he gets.
That's all I know.
But when you actually read the play, essentially what happens is there's this prophecy. Like Oedipus goes to like an oracle, and here's this prophecy that says you're gonna kill your dad, and you're gonna have sex with your mom and have children by her. And he's like, holy crap, run! So he leaves his hometown of Corinth, leaves the king and mom and dad behind. He flees to another city, Thebes. He kills the king on accident on the highway. Well, he kills this dude on purpose, and it ends up being the king. Didn't know it. He goes and meets the Sphinx because he goes to the city, and they're like, oh, the Sphinx is asking us all these riddles and keeps killing us. There's a plague, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'll go see what I can do. He goes and like answers the Sphinx's riddle. It's that one you've heard, like what walks on, the man thing, the 4 legs and then the 3 and the I don't know, It's like 4 crawling as a baby, and then 2 is walking, and then 3 is an old man with a cane. Solves that. They say, look, we don't know where our king is. He's just suddenly disappeared. Would you like to be our king? I guess it's like a meritocracy, where like you saved us. Here's the kingship. Keep saving us. And they say, okay, well here, take her as your wife. And he's like, okay. He's like a young kid. He's like probably 18-ish years old, I guess. He just set out on his own. He had nowhere to go. He's used to the royal life. They say, become a king. And he's like, so he does it. Then there's a plague. Same Tiresias, is asked, what's causing the plague? I would rather not answer. No, seriously, Tiresias, out with it. What is the answer? You won't like the answer. I don't want to answer. No, I'm serious. Tell me. Dude, you're not going to listen to me when I tell you. You're not. And he's like, I'm dead serious. Tell me Fine. It's basically you. Villain! Yeah, everybody tells me this. And then Tiresias, ends up, leaving because Oedipus accuses him of trying to be out for himself. Or actually, he accuses Creon. Because Creon's in that play.
Because Creon's the one that
he says, you want power from me, so you got this Tiresias guy to come. And he's like, no. He's like, I don't even want to be king. He's like, think about my job. Like, what do I do? Like, I get to sit around all day, enjoy the royal life, but I have to make none of the decisions. Making decisions sucks. My life is awesome. And Oedipus won't believe him. Then slowly Oedipus realizes that what he did was apparently his mom and dad back in the day, there was a prophecy said that you're going to be killed by your son. And mom, you're going to end up having sex with him. And they're like, I don't like this. So they try to take some dude out, take him out to the woods and kill him. Instead, he gives him this other guy who takes him to the city, who gets adopted by the people in Corinth. He thinks they're his real parents, but over here, they're his real parents. And so it's just this mad twist of fate. It's not like he went, sup, mom? Everybody thinks that it's like this whole scenario where like he knew. But it's just this mad twist of fate that caused Oedipus to... And essentially, it was kind of like one of the hidden, I guess, lessons of that thing was, don't try to resist the gods. If you try to resist the gods, you'll fail. If the gods tell you you're going to have sex with your mom, marry dad, that's just what's going to happen. Like, don't try to get out of it. Like, that's, I guess, Oedipus's flaw was that he tried to fix things. which is really weird. It's like, just submit to the gods. The gods are right. Whatever will be, what be.
The story's like so anxiety-inducing.
Yeah, like you can do nothing. But yeah, so that play, he puts out his own eyes at the end. His wife commits suicide. When she realizes what she's done, he abandons his kids. He goes to colonists, actually, and Antigone follows him, kind of nurses him throughout his life. And then, actually, interestingly, this is the second play, Oedipus at Colonus. Polynices comes to Oedipus in that play, and he says, because Oedipus in his infinite wisdom, he says, because he's really good at making decisions all the time. He said, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm leaving. We got to have kings. Polynices, you're the younger brother. Eteocles, you're the older brother. Eteocles, you will serve as 1 year of king. And then Polynices will be your turn. You'll serve a year as king. And then so on and so forth. He'll just flip-flop years. Yeah, that didn't work. Eteocles is like, no, I'll just stay king. Everything's fine. I don't know why we would change. Polynices is like, no, it's my turn. And he's like, no. So Polynices goes and says, Dad, help. And he's like, screw you. Like, I hope you die if you can't figure this out. Like, whatever. It's like, if y'all can't work this out, it's stupid. So Polynices then gathers some people, goes to war against Thebes so he can have his turn at king, I guess. I don't know. What was his plan after that?
I don't know.
If he becomes king, and say Eteocles survives, right? And like a year later, does he say, all right, and it's your turn. Thank you. Thank you. No, it kills him. I'm like, but then it's just one king for another. I swear these Oedipus people.
But doesn't
this family.
It seem like Oedipus is just really stupid? Because I feel I don't know. Like, he should see the signs in that. Like, his ideas are terrible all the time.
Everybody, that is attribution bias.
True. I'm sorry.
That is, I see from the outside what I see. But like, if it was you in that scenario, you'd be like, well, what was I supposed to think? I thought that was my real mom and dad. Like,
no, because the first time I read it, as soon as I saw him kill the dude, I was like, wait a second. That's crazy that you just like murdered somebody like 48 hours after you got this prophecy. Why don't you just go the other direction? I don't know. I just feel like he's.
But then how do you
they make it sound in there like he's attacked, not like he goes on the offense.
Yeah, self-defense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, what's he supposed to do? Like judo his way out of that thing?
Yes.
Just start throwing people? Anybody I kill could be my dad.
They didn't do that thing.
I will murder you. I'm sorry. Just cut and run. Then people getting surrounded by all sides. Whatever happens, I can't kill any of you. Why? Because then I'll have sex with your wife. You don't understand.
I want to kill you more.
I don't understand this. I don't either. It's the gods. So, yeah, Antigone to me, like, I feel like this one's... the problem I have is that Oedipus' fate is very clear. It's clear that fate, he goes, he gets a prophecy, it says this. This one's a little more blurry to me. Like it says, the gods have decreed we must bury the dead. Provide them their rights, right? Or the dead must be buried. And everybody sides with Antigone for this. But sometimes I wonder, what is the greater ill? At the end of this play, Antigone's dead. Is Ismene dead?
No. The sister's alive.
Yeah, she managed to stay alive.
Yeah.
Haman's dead.
Yeah. Fell on his own sword.
The mother's dead.
But yeah, Eurydice's dead. So things don't turn out all that well. I mean, I guess Antigone kind of knows that it's going to happen, that she'll be dead. Like, it's from the very beginning, the first page. She's like, I'm gonna go get dead. Like, she's like, bring it, Creon. Right? But what is the greater ill? My brother doesn't get buried? Or
I think back in
my whole family dies, or Ismene might die too, or I don't know. It's like, I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead. And I don't know that maybe are we even supposed to think that far ahead is, I guess, my question.
I think that back in that time, there were certain rituals and things so they could pass over to the, pass over to the other side, and if those rituals weren't done, that,
They wouldn't.
they didn't, so I think that's why it was so important that that was done, for her, because that's her family,
Does Creon say what he thinks is going to happen with Antigone and Ismene? Like whether they'll be given burial rights or will they be branded traitors and they're not buried either?
No, I don't think it mentions that.
I wish that had kind of been included.
Yeah.
That way we'd know that if she's just trading a brother for a sister.
I mean, what is Creon actually accomplishing by not burying this guy? Like,
This
trying
is-
to prove, like, point, he's dead.
Uh-huh.
He's not after your power anymore. So instead of cause all this uproar, why don't we just bury him and be done with the whole situation?
This is hard for us to put in these terms today because we don't have kings. But here's my attempt. I came up with this last night. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, that Donald Trump's son, Donald Jr., is Osama bin Laden. Okay? He is Osama bin Laden. Okay?
What is please?
I'm saying like he's a person who perpetrated a terrorist attack against New York. I'm not saying like what? Like I'm not saying the reveal is Osama is. I'm just saying like when we think of Osama bin Laden, instead of thinking of Osama bin Laden, we think Donald Trump Jr. Okay, he's the one who orchestrated the Twin Tower attack, and he flew. We end up getting him back. It's not any kind of custom for burial at sea, or I can't remember what the reasoning was behind the burial at sea for Osama bin Laden. I can't recall. But the technical burial rites would be bring Donald Trump Jr. back, give him the normal burial that the dead son of a United States president deserves.
Wait, but if he's Osama bin Laden in this scenario, would we get a UN burial or would we get like
A what burial?
never mind.
A UN burial?
A US burial, like would he get an American burial or would he get like which burial would he get?
No, he is definitely Donald Trump Jr. in this scenario. So he gets an American burial in the home plot. We honor him as a son of America. Or do we brand him a traitor and try to make it clear that we don't be a traitor against America?
Well, wouldn't there have to be another brother who also tried to murder Osama first?
Then we're getting a little too complicated. Because in this scenario, Creon is, I'm talking about purely from Creon's perspective. Creon views Polynices, because Creon is not the leader here. Creon has just become leader because of the death of Eteocles. So he's sort of a reluctant leader in the first place. He's reluctant to even have to make this decision. You can kind of see why he didn't want the reins in Oedipus. He was like, that's going to suck. He's kind of like that armchair quarterback who always is like, no, in fact, he didn't want to play armchair quarterback. He's like, I imagine maybe he was always thinking he knew what the best decisions were, but just never said. And when he actually became king, he was like, nope, this is the right decision. I am king. I will make this decision. And they were like, maybe not the best. And he's like, no, we will stick with it. Not the best, though. I hear you as well. Most people actually side with Antigone. Shut up. Tiresias, you should probably do this. Fine. Because he finally realized over the course of many pieces of evidence piling up that I got to do this.
I think his initial plan was to maybe try and write Oedipus' initial realm with the whole New King's kind of system where they flip-flop. Do you think he was trying to like establish some sort of order by burying one and not burying the other?
I think he was definitely trying to prove a point.
I think he was saying like,
This is supposed to be the king. Sorry, this happened.
well, let's say that like anybody who's like, let's say that Donald Trump just loves America, loves it, like it's his favorite. Like he loves his kids, but he also loves America. And I think that there are a lot of people in America who think of America that way, almost like in a religious way, right? Like I love America, the idea of America, and I want to protect the idea of America. So when a family member say like one child is loyal to the family, let's say that's Ivanka, let's say Donald Trump comes and tries to kill Ivanka. I don't know. Like the whole point was he thought Ivanka was going to be in the Trade Center that day. So he had this huge, massive terrorist attack against New York, and because she's like the king of New York, I don't know. I have to make up a whole lot of crap as I go. But as I'm getting too specific, this is why the things start to fall apart. But so in a sense, like you have to think that Donald Trump would be thinking of America as important as one of his family members. Because if you think of like, let's say that he resolves, if he realizes that what is going to cause massive unrest and lots of deaths of Americans, if he allows his kid to be buried here, maybe, because he's thinking maybe future terms is what I've always thought. Because if Polynices is given burial rights and everything goes well for Polynices in death, what's to prevent this from happening again?
Well, and also
somebody goes, oh, so I can charge against the state, and since I am a son of the state, I can get just a nice burial. So, and these are people who really believe in death, the afterlife, in a pure sense. So they think like as long as I'm given the burial rights, obviously, so I'm alive here, and if things don't work out this way, then at least I'll have the afterlife. And as long as I'm giving the libations and the proper burial rights, then I can come back and everything will be fine.
Maybe because of how simple he was too, it's like how simplistically he was thinking throughout most of the play. He was just thinking about the immediate consequence for what Polynices had done, because he had kind of forced himself, even though both brothers were behind. It's like, I don't know, he seemed like one of those people that would be like, oh well, yeah, he stayed, but also you can't break this. He's gotta take it.
Well, that's also something that happened a lot in ancient Greece. Like if someone was a traitor of the state, they didn't get their burial rights. They were just kind of left to be eaten on the battlefield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I can imagine with the enemies. This is somebody who's both an enemy and a son at the same time.
An enemy of the state, basically.
But it's kind of hard. To me, that's what makes it difficult. Is I think he's also thinking about I just watched the other night. It's a really old show. Have you ever heard of the Umbrella Academy on Netflix? There's been like trailers for it. It was a really old show called Misfits that one of the characters from Umbrella Academy, he was on that old British show, Misfits, which is about like people who there was an electrical storm. The story writer's not that great, but he's pretty good at creating characters. But there's an electrical storm, people get powers, random powers. And he was on that show. One of the people who had a power on that show had the power to I think change time, but it only ever happened when they were worked up, like when they got freaked out or something or got emotional, then they would end up rewinding time and going back and undoing everything. So I almost think of it, it's like in Creon's mind, he thinks, okay, if we allow Polynices to get away with this, then this might bring all kinds of different terroristic attacks from people within the city against the state. Then more people die, things get worse. So maybe he's thinking...
He didn't get away with it.
Huh?
But he didn't get away with it.
No, I'm saying not in life, in death. If you get your proper burial rights and you're allowed to go live in eternity with the dead, then I mean this world passes away anyway. What's the point? I mean, nothing really bad happened to Polynices if he ends up, chilling with Eteocles and Hades.
Well, there were 3 underworlds.
He went to Hades mythology as well.
I thought that everybody was in Hades. I thought the whole underworld was in
There's 3. There's the Field of Punishment. There's basically one where you feel nothing for all eternity, and then the third one's for the heroes. Yeah.
Well, this all depends too on
if they get in.
Which mythologist you're reading.
Well, Sophocles does it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Theogony. And Homer both wrote conflicting things. Well, a lot of what we know of mythology comes from Homer. There was a more complex system in place by the time I mean, there's not like a whole, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a chapter and verse book for Greek mythology.
I think there was.
There are people who make those books, but I don't know if those actually are considered. It's like there were these generally accepted things. I don't know if it was ever actually written down chapter and verse. But regardless, I mean, he sees, like, I think the way I think he sees it is that it's gonna. I don't think he's wanting to deny Polynices. It mostly is spite, but I think that there could be a sense in him that if you give this guy proper burial rites, where does it stop?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's from the state who moves against it gets proper burial rites. And I think it becomes more shocking here that he doesn't, because it's his actual family.
What was proper burial rites considered? Because she doesn't completely bury him.
Yeah, in fact, one of the meanings.
Just sprinkles dirt on top.
Yeah, I looked at, like, it's kind of like she gets away with it. I looked at one of the I screenshotted the definitions of burial at
So
some
like
point.
a half burial where technically he's not being honored, but he's still being, they're still fulfilling their whole duty to the gods and all that
It's just
stuff.
like the idea of very.
Yeah, like it says to conceal by or as if by covering with dirt. So I mean, literally, it's like, well, she's just trying to fulfill like the minimum. It's like if like a priest runs into a hospital room and says the last rites before somebody dies or after somebody dies. Like I don't know if when's the cutoff. People who know about Catholicism, like when do you have to have is that a thing anymore? So this when you had to have somebody pray like right when you die.
I mean, how
Talking about last rites.
Is it last rites?
Yeah.
Does that have to happen before you die, or is it? Okay. But I think it was just as long as he got some dirt sprinkled on him and she poured out some libations for him, which I believe means taking like some kind of oil, water, herby type mix, pouring it out for him. It says like she did it real quickly. He's like on the. They're like we hid, and then the dust storm came, and then she's there with her like. I don't know what it said. It was like an urn, or I think it's an urn. And it was like she went.
I thought it was hilarious that it like.
I couldn't even tell if it was talking about the
happened. I was like,
oil of the dirt. Like it was just so fast. What now?
I just thought it was funny that the bear, like she buried him while the dust storm was happening. I thought it was pretty convenient. Like she might not have actually gone out there. She just like saw there was some dirt and was like. Okay.
And she's got the It was funny too because when they first talked about she was buried. How? Like how was he buried? He was like, well, it wasn't like legit like bury. It was like it literally said like some road dust. like
Yeah, I thought he was like.
that's what she did. She's like poof, buried what? And I guess it says they went through the trouble to like clean the body back off.
Yeah.
So they like get the dirt off. No, enemy of the state.
No dirt for you.
And it says like the second and it said it was hard for us because he was like all slimy. Was what it said.
No.
It's gotta be gross.
Yeah, it's gotta be gross. There's that, but no dogs have got to him yet. Well, I mean, until later. But yeah, I mean, I think she's just trying to do the quick dirt sprinkle. And what happens is he's already dead, right? So I mean, can it unhappen?
No.
Like, is he like down there and he's like, oh, okay, woo, afterlife. I was really worried there for a second. But then they shake the dirt off and it's like, whoosh, he's like, whoa. Oh my gosh, I'm back again. What's going on up there? But I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't know. In fact, I guess I found this to be like an odd way for this poll to go. I thought it would be like a little. I mean, I always expect Antigone. People will say, but I always expect it to be like more here. But everybody was telling me that they were like not yellow. I chose PVC colors. Can you tell? I actually got a chance to choose. It was like dark blue and like light blue, and I was like excited. And I guess I don't know. It's a difficult thing. So I guess what it looks like to me, is that people value loyalty. I guess I should have a second poll, but I don't have time to make another one. What is the reason you side with Antigone more? Like, what's the nature of the decision that she makes that makes it more like a better one that she makes than Creon?
Antigone just kind of feels like the underdog, so you kind of root for her in a way.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't think about that. Not really having a true, like, well, her points line up, so.
And I
And
feel
she
like
just lost her family.
the reason I kind of respect Antigone is it's not about whether or not I think that her brother should have been buried or she should have been allowed to bury him. I just kind of felt like she was just standing up for what she believed in, no matter what. And that's kind of just, to me, that's respectable. I think that's what it is. It's not about the actual burying or not. It's more about her just standing up for what she believes in.
I also feel like Antigone has a little bit of a I hate my dad complex though, because every time Creon tries to say something to her, she's like, not about it. She's like really not about it.
Now, when you say I hate my dad complex, you mean like not a real dad?
Not a real dad.
Oh, okay.
It's like a I hate anything that old people say to me because I have issues with some other old person.
She does like this, she does have that like rebellious kind of vibe.
Yeah, every time Creon's like Antigone, she's like, no!
Yeah, she's like a rebel. You want her to, you know
Like,
kind of
since you said we can't bury him, now I'm gonna go bury him.
I wonder if she would have done it anyway, even if she hadn't been told no. Or she would just let them do it.
I see Antigone as more of a Greek anti-hero. Because what she does is right in the sense that you can't, like, gods want the dead to be buried. But the way she does it, she could have went to Creon and pleaded with him. The gods deemed that we should bury the dead. Please let me bury my
Creon
brother.
said he didn't want anybody else to die, so he was like if she had just come in, he probably would have been like, fine, we'll bury him.
But because she did that and went through immoral aspects, she's a villain in a sense of the state. And she even defies Creon in her act of suicide, because she's not going to be made an example of.
Which is why I think that Creon's got the secret sauce though, because Antigone is Antigone's over here trying to get to it, right? She's like, Creon's the evil guy, I'm standing up for what's right, but she's like pushing herself to her own fate by like not trying to work with Creon. Because Creon's focused on the kingdom, but Antigone's focused on the prophecy. Like, she's always, in the back of her head, she's always like, well, I'm gonna die by this time, so it doesn't matter, this is probably where it happens. Whereas Creon's like, well, I just need you guys to not go crazy so that we can continue the things.
We can have an existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I didn't think about the underdog and the rebellious and the character traits.
I feel like a lot,
You can't be the only, otherwise 8 people.
I feel like that's what it is about Antigone. It's not really, it's kind of just like her character you start to like, especially when Creon, he just seems kind of like really arrogant, and you just start to side less with him.
And boring.
I think that's just that old freak.
Yeah, you just, the more he talks, like, he's kind of just like a full of himself, big-headed, and you feel like Antigone's the underdog, and even if you don't agree with maybe Creon was just trying to protect the state, and Antigone was just being ridiculous, or whatever, you still kind of side with her just because Creon's such a jerk. You feel like he's so arrogant, you feel like Antigone's just the underdog, and you just kind of want to see her succeed.
Well, and honestly, like, Antigone, not that a lot of the others are not about girls, but when I realized she was a girl, I was like, okay, I think I can get further into this than I thought I was going to be able to. And there's this whole sister component, like, we're partners in crime, sort of, but not really. And that's kind of how sisters work.
Yeah, I feel like it's
made it interesting. That accomplishes nothing, but it made it interesting.
Huh. That's true. We don't really have a lot of strong
Resolve.
I mean, I feel like I don't really have a lot of strong female characters like to look up to and all the stuff that we're reading.
I don't get how.
In fact, we don't have a lot of male characters to look up to in the readings
Her
either.
sister, what's her name again?
Ismene?
Ismene was like, when they captured her or whatever, she was like, all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, you know, I did that too. Like,
Yeah,
why didn't she like just do it anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That was an interesting decision.
She was like, oh yeah, I did it. And her sister was like, nah, you know?
But that is kind of how sisters work. You know, like,
In a way, yeah, I can see that.
two sisters are like, I wasn't directly involved, but I'll be punished with you. I mean, we're in this together, even though we weren't in this together.
Also, I feel like that sister. What's her name?
Ismini?
I feel like she low-key was on board, and also because the whole thing with Antigone and what's her name, Haman, that had happened before. Yeah. I feel like, I feel like Ismini was just kind of like she's hanging out, but she wants to do something, but she doesn't know like what to do. Like she doesn't have that initiative that Antigone has, where she's gonna be the anti-hero, like the anti-hero sidekick.
She's like the philosophical one. She's like in the background, the quiet advisor. And if he's like let's fly by the seat of our pants, maybe we'll die.
That's true. I mean, like in the beginning, like I remember, maybe this is just me being honest with myself, or nobody else is actually like this, but I was like, Ismini's making a lot of sense. Like I kept, now granted, maybe it kind of emphasized the female aspect, and maybe it feels stronger, like we're in like a more equal society. It feels cooler, like the Ismini, and Antigone's doing this because when she says, or Ismini says, and it's in line 74 of the play, but says, remember, we are women. We're not born to contend with men. Then too, we're underlings, ruled by much stronger hands, so we must submit in this, and things still worse. And I thought, like, if I was a girl reading that, I'd be like, screw you. Like, I just, like, we can do whatever we want. And then, like, Antigone's, yes, we will do whatever we want. And I'd be like, yeah, you know, like, and I was like, you know, I got $2 and a wife, and I was like, nuh-uh. I'm like, that's the first one. Now, this is interesting, because she says, no, what was the actual... she does make a point that I thought was actually a relatively good point to make, where she says, Antigone says, like in line 91, she says, do as you like, dishonor the laws the gods hold in honor. And she said, I do them no dishonor, but defy the city? I have no strength for that. Antigone says, you have your excuses. Like it's like Antigone's the one sitting there arguing, like kind of like I would. It'd be like, yeah, it's the right thing to do. But why the hell are we gonna go do it? Like I mean, it's like I know it's like it's right. It's like, but it's gonna be far worse. And I don't think she's necessarily just saying like for us, but she's thinking. I think Ismini's thinking about all the unrest that this is going to cause, beyond just the moment. Like
somebody put in their discussion post about how they didn't think Antigone really thought the whole thing through.
Yeah.
When I think about the whole conversation with her sister in the beginning, it really makes sense. Because her sister tells Antigone, then at least don't tell anybody you're doing this. As though Antigone's totally going to tell on herself. Because she's kind of a all over there kind of person.
Yeah, but I think she knows the consequences and she's ready to
the decrees are
face that. I mean, I don't think she's naive about the consequences, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna, tell.
I partly feel like that sort of clarifies the Ismini decision too later, where like she says, yeah, I'm gonna tell because that's just what I'm gonna do. And so Ismini is trying to talk her out of it because she knows the moment that Antigone goes through with this, then she's like, well, I guess I'm in it too.
Antigone's looking at, I think, because they believe that the gods created all this chaos. If we don't do what the gods ordered, no king is gonna, in their eyes, no king's gonna have the power to change like the gods will fate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this whole Lucy and Ethel partnership.
Lucy and Ethel.
Yeah. Where Lucy gets in trouble and then Ethel totally had nothing to do with it.
Well, you're gonna have to explain who Lucy and Ethel are to 90% of the room.
I was gonna say, I love Lucy.
Yeah, I love Light. I'm pretty accurate, right? Who knows? And I want every hand, not just the ones who. Who knows who I Love Lucy are? Let's see. Well, screw you guys. That is wrong. So, whatever. Everybody knows Lucy and Ethel. Everybody's watching black and white TV shows with mom and dad. Whatever.
Every day before school.
Every day before school? What is this? Like The Office and Friends now? Everybody's like, yeah, I totally watch that.
When I was a kid,
Is it on Netflix or something?
No, it just comes on random channels. Like, they still have the Andy Griffith show. Or,
Does it make really good background noise for playing on your phone? Like,
No, it's just fine.
like my mom watched it, and so I watched a lot of it.
My dad would.
I still do to this day. Anytime that I have anytime I have the urge to watch the Vidi Vidi Veggie Vac episode, I just hop on there and I watch that joke. I think it's good, but I didn't expect people. Okay, sure. So
It's actually-
perfect metaphor. Lucy and Ethel. I guess.
Where are your older class?
Yeah.
I guess so. Although I do see like 2-3 people in the room going like, I still don't know who Lucy. They're good friends. They're good friends. Who operate like. Yeah, but Ismini, like I feel, to me it's like Ismini's like trying to talk her out of it because she's like, you're gonna get in trouble. She's like, but if you do it, don't tell anybody. And then she of course admits to it. And then Ismini's like, well, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get killed for this, and then it's just gonna be me.
I can't have that.
And I'll be the last one left in the family. Why not? Just I did. Yeah, sure. In fact, she kind of, I guess this is a very complex philosophical thought, I think, if Ismenia has this, where essentially, if Ismini feels like her inability to stop Antigone from doing this makes her complicit in it, it's like, if I couldn't stop you, then I'm guilty of it too, then that kind of makes sense to me. Right? Because because y'all ever heard of have y'all heard of the trolley? Have you heard of the trolley problem? Have you heard of that before? The trolley problem in philosophy. Real quick, let me erase the ocean. The trolley problem is a problem in philosophy where. What time is it?
10:46.
Oh, yeah, we got 3 minutes to at least introduce the problem. We can continue talking about it next time. Okay, so here we have a railroad tracks. Okay. Railroad tracks. And this right here is a railroad track. And then this one over here is a railroad track that goes off this other one. Do not try to come up with something like, well, the curve's too sharp, it'll fly off the rail. Pretend it works. And it's called the trolley problem, but it really should be called, for I think Americans, the train problem. But over here we got 5 people. La 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 la. There's nothing you can do to communicate these people that a train is coming, but you can tell they're coming. You're way back here and you see, and for some reason you've got access to the switch way back here that's going to switch the train. This train is barreling quickly toward these people to the point that they're going to die. And you can't shout to them, you can't communicate to them in any way that they're going to die, they're just going to die. And they can't see the train coming, there's no chance they're going to jump off the tracks, they're going to get hit. However, you notice over here on this track, there's one person. Okay? They're in the same scenario. There ain't nothing you can do.
Can't like throw a rock.
There's no, huh?
Can't like throw a rock. You're like.
No, there is no way to communicate with these people. So you're in a situation where if you stand and you do nothing, 5 people die. And you're not allowed to rationalize, like, oh, maybe they won't all be dead. Maybe like one will cushion the blow for the rest, and then they're all gonna die.
They're dead.
So you flip a switch, 5 people die. You do nothing, 5 people die. You flip the switch, 1 person dies. And you have no idea of determining, like, I mean, it very well could be that this is the Pope, and these are 5 pedophiles, or it could be that this is a pedophile and this is 5 popes. Oh wait, that's not. This is Martin Luther King and it's like JFK and like I don't know, like all the best people that we ever wish to come in. The Beatles. And you can't be like, well, maybe though that's like One Direction, so I just
let them keep going.
But so I guess it's a topic that we've sort of introduced, but the reasoning behind why this is an interesting problem we can talk about more next time, and I'll have to redraw it, I think, because I'll have to erase it. Did you like the poll? Was that?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Just in case this gets gone. Huh? Find what that interested the poll? People's choices, yeah, I found very interesting. Very interesting.
I was not in